So DevStream 118 was just a few hours ago, and in it we got some pretty cool things that we need to talk about. Like, towards the end of the stream we seen what looked like flying feckin' nullifiers out on Fortuna. At first I legitimately thought it was actually flying nullifiers. I thought, holy god, who decided to put these into the game? But then it was pointed out to me on Twitter, thank you very much, that it in fact looks like there may be a Corpus drone giving these bubbles to nearby Corpus units. So you need to take out that drone to basically stop the spread of bubbles. So that's a thing we can look forward to in Fortuna. But anyway, they also told us that there will be some big changes coming to the Arbitrations game mode that just got added into Warframe to hopefully address some of the issues that the community has with that game mode, and hopefully we'll get that very soon to fix it and make it more fun. Fortuna is supposed to be released on the first week in November. I kind of wish they didn't say that, because when it doesn't get released there's going to be a bit of salt in the community. So hopefully 3 weeks from now, all going well, it will be released. But I would personally say to allow for maybe a week after that for possible delays, just in case. Hell, even 2 weeks, just in case something doesn't click and they need to delay it. But early November for Fortuna, which is kind of what most of us thought anyway. Now, first up on the dev stream we got a look at a new Atlas Deluxe skin concept made by Liger Inuzuka, who is the same guy that designed the Nidus Deluxe skin and the Neja Deluxe skin as well, which you can kind of tell when you look at this drawing simply by the amount of detail that he has put into Atlas's butt cheeks. So this is an Atlas Deluxe skin, and it will make his body parts very floaty apparently, like his arms and his legs will kind of hover off from his body, maybe his butt as well, who knows. His golems, the Atlas Deluxe golems, will have a different design to them as well, which will look like this. And the Twitch chat was very quick to mention the similarities that the Atlas Deluxe helmet has with Revenant's default helmet as well, although the vents on the kind of mouth guard of the Atlas Deluxe looks really cool as well. But anyway, this is a skin that is very early in design. It's an early concept, so it probably is a long way off being added into the game, so we'll see it again in a few months' time. Now, next up in the dev stream we got a full preview of the next new Warframe, Garuda, and her abilities. She is apparently very well into development and is almost ready to be released, practically finished. So Garuda is our gore based Warframe, which you could tell easily enough early on in the stream, because every time she cast one of her abilities she was then covered in gore and blood. So Garuda is basically the vicious, elegant predator as opposed to Valkyria kind of being the rage-induced predator, and the claws running up the length of her arms are insanely big and look fucking incredible, if I'm being honest, along with the kind of fabric that drapes off the elbows as well. So she looks pretty damn good. Now, we also got a very quick look at her signature crossbow. So she's coming with a crossbow. It's going to be her weapon, which was unmodded, so it didn't deal much damage, and we didn't get to see what kind of stats it had, but visually it kind of gave me a Van Helsing kind of vibe. Maybe that was just me, but it reminded me of a kind of a vampire hunting weapon. I don't know why. Of course, everything Garuda, ability wise and everything else, is subject to change, but her abilities were her passive will increase her damage the lower that her health goes. So as her health goes down, her damage dealt percentages go up, kind of like a berserker. And I think it had a cap of 200%. I think someone can clarify that in the comment section below. Now, her abilities sound pretty damn good and have a nice amount of synergy to them as well. Synergy! But we got to see what her actual stats are like on release, or how strength mods are going to affect, or range mods are going to affect her shield, and that health siphon's range and the strength, how effective that heal is, as well as the whirling dervish of blades that her ultimate throws out as well. So we got to see how mods actually affect these abilities. For her first ability, Garuda will pounce on an enemy, killing them or eviscerating them, and will give you a shield in the process, kind of similar to Volt's when he carries his shield, so it's in front of your Garuda. It also looks like this shield will absorb incoming damage into a blood orb that floats above that shield, that you can then also charge up at a cost of energy, and then you can take this blood orb and throw it at enemies like Nova's molecular prime, which will explode, causing damage in an area of effect. So there's a lot going on with her first ability. Her second ability will create a blood spire, or it will impale an enemy that will then link that enemy to you and leech health from that enemy to you. But you need to be inside the radius of that blood spire in order to get the benefit from that health. Now hopefully power strength mods will increase the healing you get, and hopefully range will increase the radius in which you can stay inside in order to get the benefits from the actual heal, but we're going to have to wait and see. Her third ability will cover herself in blood or gore while also reducing her health by half, which of course will then coincide with that passive, which will increase your overall damage, and I think it gives her energy as well. Now her fourth, or her ultimate ability, surrounds her in a vortex of spinning blades that is basically just turning Garuda into the full-blown blender mode. It's a duration based ability with spinning blades that cuts everything up that gets caught inside it. Now the animations on stream was very particle heavy, there was a lot going on, but it reminded me of a mix between maybe Revenant without his actual spinning and the lasers, and a little bit of Nyx's Absorb as well because of the amount of particles. Now you can see where Garuda's synergy is going to come from with all of these abilities and her passive as well. She can half her health, siphon life to replenish it from an enemy that is impaled, gain shield to mitigate incoming damage from the front, and then nuke enemies with her fourth ability or by dropping that blood orb on a group of enemies as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what way mods interact with Garuda, and she seems like a very good frame, but everything is subject to change, and until you guys, the community, get your hands on Garuda, we won't know exactly how well she will perform until she's fully modded and people actually find the best way to build Garuda. Now next up, they quickly mentioned Nyx and her rework and what changes we can expect once they actually finish them. Her new passive will make enemies misfire or not be able to shoot at Nyx, giving them a kind of a targeting debuff. Her mind control ability, when cast on a target, will make them charge up incoming damage, which in turn will make the mind control target deal more damage to enemies as well. And her psychic bolts will turn into a debuff ability, which will debuff enemies like remove shields or armor, or remove the healing auras from ancients and so on. And her absorbs outgoing damage is also being looked at as well. So she sounds like she might be in a better place, but again, we don't know until we see it in action or until we ourselves get our hands on her. Titania is also going to have a few changes. Her buffs won't need to be recast in order to stack them, and might possibly give you the full buff on your initial cast of it. And her razor wings will also get vacuumed to allow you to pick up mods and items while in that razor wing form. Now, pet companions are finally getting their own vacuum ability, the fetch mod. This will detect and collect items on your Kubro or your Kovat within 11.5 meters, including mods, so it's basically the exact same as the vacuum mod for Sentinels, except it's called fetch and it goes on your Kubros and Kavats. Now it's going to be interesting to see what way this will work on your Kravats or Kubros, whether it's going to make your pets just run around picking up everything, or if they're actually going to still be able to assist you in killing things, or if they're just going to be too busy picking shit up. Now, with the changes to pets inbound, we also got a better look at the upcoming buildable Moa pets, which will also have a vacuum. Woo! These Moa pets are going to be built in a very similar way to what we build our Zaws, or what the kit guns are going to be like, while also being able to gild them to give them higher stats. Multiple different parts are put together and they have different abilities or precepts which are determined by the Moa's headpiece. So you can have multiple different types of Moa pets owned. On top of the abilities, these Moas will also have their own types of emotions or animation sets that are given to them by chipsets that you can equip on that Moa. So it can have emotions like aggressive, sensitive and inquisitive, which apparently will also change how they interact in game. Now I can see these chips kind of being a store item. Maybe different ones later on get an extra animation or a different emotion depending on the cost of platinum. Maybe that's just me, maybe I'm just being cynical, but I could see these being a store item. Of course, they will also have some kind of weapons equipable on these Moa pets as well. Now, the Moa pet looked really fucking good. It crouched at the same time, as your Warframe crouches, and it looked derpy as all hell when it was walking as it crouched. So the Moa we seen Rebecca use on the dev stream had abilities that lifted enemies up into the air, and it held them with a tether mine as well. So the Moa we seen Rebecca use during the dev stream had two different abilities attached to it. One lifted enemies up into the air, so it kind of removed gravity, and the other one was a tether mine, kind of similar to what the corpus drones give us in the game already. So that's pretty much the Moa pets covered. Garuda, her abilities, Nyx, what rework she could be getting, Atlas's deluxe skin and a perfectly toned art, as well as the slight touch up that Titania could be getting as well. But towards the end of the dev stream we got a little bit more footage of the open world on Fortuna and how visually it looks a lot better than what it did the last few times we've seen it. There's a lot more kind of mist and fog. It looks like a cold planet, I guess more so than it did before. Instead of just having to go to an area and complete a certain objective like we do right now, there will also be bounties where you have to kill a certain enemy type or an amount of those enemies, or there could be mining and fishing based bounties as well, I think they mentioned. Those huge caves that we've seen multiple times in the gameplay of Fortuna, a lot of the community have been asking what is their point, and it seems that they will have lakes inside them, huge lakes inside them, where we will need to go in order to get different types of fish, as well as a lot of the K drives will race through those caves as well. Now with mining in Warframe there are changes on the way to how we actually go about mining those nodes. You will no longer have to trace the lines in order to get the items. You're going to just be able to heat up a spot on that mining node and try and stop it while it's inside the white zone of that circle. So it's a much faster way for us to get materials. So it's a quality of life change, I guess, to how we mine. Now Warframe is coming on the Switch, I think on the 20th of November, and they showed it off at the start of the stream as well, and they had the FPS up, so it was running at a stable 30 frames a second while on the Switch. Railjack is coming in 2019, so it's not coming with the Fortuna update, but between then and now apparently we will get new Archwing content where we get new weapons and apparently new mods as well, because you're going to need that Archwing for Railjack. Operator cosmetics were shown at the start of the stream, are coming with Fortuna, kind of similar to the same idea that the operator cosmetics we got with Cetus. These are going to be Solaris United inspired cosmetic armor for your Tenno. Now the link to the full dev stream is in this video's description, make sure and go and check it out. There's going to be a timestamp guide there to direct you wherever the hell you want to go. Let me know what you think of all of the items that were shown off on the dev stream, from Garuda to the deluxe skin, of course, to the mining nodes at the same time. Do me a huge favour and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, or don't if you didn't. Subscribe for more Warframe, and as always, thanks very much for watching.